All right, it's time to build the aluminum steering system for the Losi Mini B. Again, first time through, wasn't careful enough apparently, and locked tight more than just the threads. So took it all apart, cleaned it up, and gonna try this again with a different process. So right now what you're gonna see is all of the parts. There is one drag link, 2 bell cranks, and 4 bearings, which do not come with the steering system, by the way. And then 2 kingpins and 2 tiny little washers. One you'll see here got actually stuck in the container. And so just be mindful of those. They go in between the 2 bell cranks and the drag link. So the first thing I want to do is take just a little bit of black silicone grease, just a tiny little bit, put it on a brush, and kind of paint the mating surfaces that are going to be touching one another. So here you're seeing on the top side of the drag link, and then I'm going to take a little bit more and put it on the bottom side of each bell crank. There will be a washer in between these surfaces, and so both sides of that washer will have grease on them, doing it this way. So after that is done, here comes a really important step, and this is to take some thread lock and put it on a piece of cardboard, get a toothpick, and lightly dab it into the bottom side, the back side of the drag link. And the reason why it's so important to do it from the back side is because that way nothing is passing through. There is no chance for the thread lock to pass through the washers or anything that's moving. And so you're not going to get your system bound together. So the next thing I do is I take these washers and I get them set up on top of the drag link. Because there's a little bit of grease there, they hold in place. It's probably not the smartest way to do it, but I ended up doing it, so whatever. Next thing is to take these kingpins and stick them through the bell crank. Now what I've found here is when I did that, there was some residue from the dried thread lock that had stuck onto the smooth part of the kingpin post, making the two not slide easily together. So I just real quickly scraped it off here with my nail, got it smooth, and then put the bell crank and the drag link together. So what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of keeping the screw from rotating while I test the kind of freedom of movement. So I'm really checking between spinning, ease of movement, lack of friction, but also slop in the system. It turns out it's not as important to get it right in this step as it is in a step coming up. But anyways, that's what I was doing. So you'll see here the bell crank spins, or the drag link, bell crank, whatever, spins smoothly through there. I'm not moving the screw head with the exception of making some adjustments. You can see once I kind of get it to where I want it, I pull it off without trying to move the screw. So now I'm wiping off the excess of the thread lock on the bottom side, and I'm going to let it sit. Now here's the important step. In about 20 to 30 minutes, come back. The thread lock's going to have just set up a little bit, and make your final adjustments between slop and freedom of movement there. You're all set.